Pour the cup. Let's talk health.
Right here at the table where the good talk start. We're feeding your mind and strengthening your heart. From doctors to wellness and the choices we make. Giving you the knowledge everybody should take. Hey. Your healthy Java. Bringing you the info you need to get healthy, stay healthy, and make your life strong and healthy. Your healthy Java. Health in every cup. Mind and body conversations that lift the whole community up. Stay healthy.
Pour the cup. Let's talk health.
Right here at the table where the good talk start. We're feeding your mind and strengthening your heart. From doctors to wellness and the choices we make. Giving you the knowledge everybody should take. Hey. Your healthy Java. Bringing you the info you need to get healthy, stay healthy, and make your life strong and healthy. Your healthy Java. Health in every cup. Mind and body conversations that lift the whole community up. Stay healthy.
Pour the cup. Let's talk health.
Right here at the table where the good talk start. We're feeding your mind and strengthening your heart. From doctors to wellness and the choices we make. Giving you the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's percolating. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning to the people on Facebook. Good morning to the people on IG. Good morning to the people on the YouTube. Good morning to the people on LinkedIn and Twitter too.
Java,
Percolating.
get a vibe, stay ready.
Truth in the cup, keep it strong, keep it steady.
Pull up a chair, yeah, take a sip with me.
Good morning, good people. Java with Jimmy. Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah, the love percolating.
percolating.
Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah.
good morning.
Yeah, the love.
Percolating,
Yeah. Java with Jimmy.
good morning. Percolating,
Yeah, we in it.
yeah, we in it.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Java with Jimmy.
percolating,
Yeah, we in it.
yeah, we in it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Java with Jimmy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe. Java.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we're good. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, and welcome to the Java Cafe. Thank you all for being here this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is We Need to Know Wednesday. I can already tell a lot of people are here, and we know why. But we have two segments this morning. The first one, we're going to chat with the mayor of Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu. And also we're going to chat with the visionary some of the folks that have been involved for a few years and one of the speakers of this Saturday's TEDx Roxbury that is taking place at Roxbury Community College. And I am going to put the link in for you right now to go and purchase your tickets in the comments. The link is hyperlinked, so you can leave here for a second if you would like, or go back to the comments later, or just go to Facebook and Instagram and follow TEDx Roxbury so you can stay up to date with what's going on. I believe this is the 4th year. This is my 3rd year. Yeah, this is the 4th year. This is my 3rd year hosting. And if you're watching on James, I'm going over there right now to make sure the link is there as well, so you all don't get me. Hold on for 1 second. Link is over now on James as well. Instagram. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't post link. Well, oh, can I? Wait a minute. Hold on. But it won't hyperlink over there. So go follow us on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay up to date with what we're doing here in the Java Cafe. One of the things that we're doing, and we want to ensure that you have this information. One of the things that we've been doing for the past 5 years is bringing you the health information you need to get and stay healthy. On Saturday, May 16th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we are sponsoring the 5th annual Joseph R. Betancourt Health Fair, sponsored by Java with Jimmy, your healthy Java, and that is taking place. And yes, we are giving away 5 $1,000 cash gifts. So for all of you folks that are in today, share that information with community so they can come out and get some health information. So we're getting ready to bring our mayor in, and again at around 10:30, well, 10:38 or so, we will speak with the folks from TEDx Roxbury. So let's welcome our mayor to the Java Cafe. Mayor, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I heard the audio. I think we're good. Can you say something?
Oh, test, test, test. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
you may not be on the mic. You're usually mic'd. It may but
Okay. I have this thing off, so let me see if I can. Is this side better? Test,
Yeah,
test.
bring it up
Okay.
there.
It was all right. I'll move it closer then.
Okay,
Does that sound better?
that's good. You look
Okay,
like
great.
a podcaster. Welcome to the Java Cafe. It's been a little bit. And so as we always do, Mayor, there's so much going on, and we do check in on you, respectfully as Michelle. And so how are you doing? How's the family? How's Mira and the boys? We give a lot of attention to Mira, but the boys as well. But good morning, and please greet the audience, and we'll jump right in.
It's great to see everyone. The chat is already popping with lots of folks. So good morning. Good morning. We're good. We just came off of school break, and it was nice. Got to do my spring cleaning and get a little bit more settled. The kids grow so fast. You got to always switch out the clothes and everything gets too small. And today was Mira's first day of childcare. So dropped her off at City Hall Daycare. Fingers crossed she's going to be okay when I pick her up, but that's going to be it's been a big transition for us and much needed. So very excited.
Question for you. Did you cry when you dropped her off?
I did not cry this time because she didn't cry. With the boys, I cried because they cried. They were just, refusing to let me go. She didn't even notice that I left. She was so happy to see other kids. And they have their little mini sinks and, kid-sized chairs. And she was like big eyes and all good.
I see she didn't make 151 this year. I think it was last year, and you dropped the list yesterday.
She hasn't been working as hard this year.
It's been the folks out at and we won't talk about it that much today, but it was the selectmen out at I think it was Foxborough that was getting ready to shut down FIFA if they didn't get that security money set. So Mayor, let's jump right in. I want to ask you, we haven't had a real chance to talk post your beginning of your second term, and it's been, interesting. And so if I can ask you, in whatever context you would like to, can you describe how you perceive how you rolled out your second term in one word?
How I rolled out my second term in one word. Determined, I would say.
Okay.
I think this, okay, am I allowed to add more words now?
Yeah, good. Determine is the word, and context
Yes.
is great.
The
Yeah.
context is that I think we're every day seeing how much people are struggling. And I really feel, first 4 years, very chaotic, frankly, in the beginning with COVID and so many things that were, a little bit on fire inside the kind of city workforce that had been caring so much for others that
Mhm.
in a lot of places people had not been caring for themselves, right? Long time vacancies or different practices that weren't sustainable just to kind of keep going through the pandemic, programs that had dropped off around youth development or supports in the schools and other places, buildings that were just about to fall apart and had not had routine maintenance because resources had been, moved around in different ways. So I think there was a lot of just getting the ship settled and righted and kind of turned in the right direction. And the goal now is, I know where all the things are. I know how everything works. We've gotten so many systems and processes really rebuilt and settled. And now, it's a different federal environment. So, but we are pushing forward and doing so with all the headwinds coming at us, right? Every day there's a new kind of attack or threat or something, lawsuit, or and it hasn't slowed down, and it's not as if the federal administration kind of had their initial start and then stopped. They're not stopping.
In that context, Mayor, if I can jump in and ask, and so politics, history, the seat in which you sit, and in that context of determine, and thank you for the context given there because it was interesting coming in and off you were a third mayor within a year's time, so that was interesting, and we have to give credit to that. And kind of knowing the ropes, getting to know the ropes and things like that, though you were coming from the council. Mayor, in that vein, if I can ask you, there is a sentiment of second term mayors in a city where by charter it is one of the most powerful seats in the world. And when you talk about things coming at you, you are not unaware of some things around from a political standpoint of yielding power. There's this thing that I've been using, the 6-7 of the council and things like that. And so how in that context with determine, do you balance that sort of second term mayor trend that is based in power, getting the agenda forward, and how do you
say a little bit more what you mean by second term mayor trend?
Traditionally in the political world, there is the solidness of I got a second term. I think within Boston, generally, per charter, it's a powerful seat. And then Mayor, this was a very interesting election because you had no contender, and there are dynamics and things, that come with that.
I mean, that's not true that there was no contender.
Well,
it was a full campaign with more funding spent in this race than even in a few weeks this race than ever before.
Based on OCPF, and that's been sort of mentioned a lot as well. And so what I mean by that is, Mayor, I'll just cut to the chase. There's a perception that you are doing, and I've said it before, you're a politician, and it is important to align things in a manner that you can get your determined agenda forward in your second term. And so how do you balance that determination that you're having? And then for some, it's a perception of the traditional strong mayor, and it will lead into some other conversation around, your agenda and, some voices from the community, namely White Stadium, Blue Hill Ave, those things like that. So how are you balancing that perception with your determination?
Yeah, so I think I understand the question. I also it feels a little bit like you're dancing around. It's not saying maybe what you want to say all the way. But I think what I'm hearing is that it's traditional in the second term, once you've made it through, to just do what you want right? And is that what you mean?
To do what you want, and so you said, not just cutting to the chase, doing what you want and yielding the power, and I mean, you have I say 6-7. The council is set. The council is set, and there have been demonstrations of things not going through on the 6-7 perception, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time there.
Okay, okay. So I think I get what you're saying, but I guess what I mean by determined is that, when you're just, even though with 8 years on the council, you're very familiar. I was, familiar with the role, the issues, the neighborhoods, the people, etc. What you have to learn on the job is how to actually make things happen and how to make it stick. Because in city government, you can announce something, you can create a program, but then whether or not it keeps functioning a year later, 4 years later, 10 years later, is the hard part, because there's so much new stuff coming at you every day, right? A water main burst, a federal this or that happening. At the city level, we're kind of subject to a lot of other stuff. And when I say determined, I mean really making space and time to not just do the functions of the job well, right? Rebuild the system so we can deliver the basic city services that we need better than ever, more than ever, faster than ever, but carve aside time also to push us to do the proactive thing. So I have 3 things that are my kind of, touch points in this moment. One, can
I ask you one question to clarify, and maybe you can mix them, because I was going to ask you, what are your top 3 things in this second term, your top agenda items? So is this sort of in that vein as well?
Yeah, and it's always shifting. But I guess I'll describe it 2 different ways. One, super zoomed out. We're in the 250th anniversary of the country. Boston is the place where we're building the America we deserve. That is what I believe, that we are the keeper, right? This country has never been, we've always been working towards more perfect union. We've never been there, but this city has, in so many of the most important moments, led the way on that. And so we need to continue to have the highest quality of life. We need to continue to defend and protect and invest in the common good, public good that includes everyone, and be the most innovative anywhere, be on the leading edge of actually fixing things, whether it's curing cancer or coming up with a new way to ensure food access actually reaches everyone, or connecting people to the healthcare institutions, the education that's here. Just from a pure city government perspective, my 3 things are schools, making sure BPS are the best public schools in the country in terms of large urban districts. 2, permitting. It should be easy for you, whether you want to host an event, fix your house, open a restaurant. City government should be the that, instead of no, you gotta do this hoop, that hoop, confusing. And we've already accomplished a lot of slimming down permitting, and we have a lot more to do. And then 3rd, really around what is innovation and being on the place where people come with ideas that change the world. How does that actually maintain in this current federal environment and reach every neighborhood?
Mayor, that is a good transition, because our time is interesting. I have TEDx Roxbury. Eric, you're going to see Eric Estevez in a couple of seconds, in a few minutes. And so when you talk about the last part about innovative ideas and things like that, I think that's a good segue into one of the things I wanted to ask. And you went, and you get this context, you went 9 to 5 with city policy, as you should. Some of the context, Mayor, of that question was after 5, in the politics, in the, and I know you're in the building, and so we don't want to, mess with after 5 stuff a lot, but the power thing is something that the political pundits, operatives, and strategists have observed, and it is what a politician does. But then looking at some things, and I'll transition into, so your agenda items for second term are schools, which are very, traditional with the mayor. That was one of Mayor Menino said, judge him, at the end by schools. The second thing was permitting. I'll add processes. And the third thing was innovative ideas from the community and things like that. So that can segue us,
Yeah,
Mayor.
our larger innovation economy, and how do we ensure that everybody is part of that, right?
And
So
that's
healthcare, life sciences, tech, the creative economy, I count all of that as part of it.
streets, that, and then this is a good transition. And so when you say community and innovation, there, as much as we know about White Stadium and Blue Hill Ave, there are concerns, and I'm sure with those there have been suggestions, alternative ideas, and things like that. I saw something the other day where people were even looking at AI for some things. And so, how do you, in the context of some very interesting issues, I saw an article the other day from a meeting at, I think it was Forest Hills, with the progressive bike community. There's definitely a lot of energy around Blue Hill Ave, and also White Stadium. And so how do you take that sort of larger, as you said, big picture scale and involving community and innovative ideas? How do you apply that to some of the like local, which is your wheelhouse, day-to-day basic city issues where some people have some concerns? How are you incorporating that community perspective into communities like around White Stadium and Blue Hill Ave, streets, and what I used to say, what did I say? White poles and speed bumps. Because even on the council the other day, there was something that I observed that was very interesting around some folks pushing back. So how do you? There was a lot there. So first question is incorporating the community.
Yeah, and you are ignoring the questions in the chat. I see everybody.
Mayor, when you're on and certain people are on, I don't pay.
I want to
attention
touch on
the
some
chat.
of these though.
We can
Budget,
in a minute.
schools.
You have actually
Anyway.
38. You have 15 minutes. So we're doing, Mayor, we're doing good. Okay.
I
so
will say, I have to be on the MSBA meeting to
what's MSBA?
advocate, the Mass School Building Authority meeting to advocate for
Well, Madison Mayor.
funding coming. Ruth Batson today is on the agenda to do a full rebuild. What was previously the Dover McCormick, now Ruth Batson, right next to
Okay,
UMass Boston.
Got you.
So,
And that's at 10:30 tight.
yeah, maybe I'll be a few minutes late.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I could do it.
So what I'm asking, Mayor. Okay. I'll. You said earlier you're not asking a direct question. There's a lot of pushback around some of your agenda, around streets, around God knows White Stadium, around some other things. How are you balancing, Mayor? And then I guess I'll couple that with
Yeah. I
who is in your ear from the Black community since Jessica and Shagun's departure that has ear to the ground, a cadence and agency that I'm sure you appreciate that Jessica and Shagun brought to that office. So incorporating a community, and then also in your ear in there, who is representing the Black community around your agenda?
Yeah. So on streets, and I think to get to your larger question about what does it mean when communities giving feedback, and as you referenced White Stadium, there are issues in the city where there is disagreement, and I think our job in city government is to lay out, first of all, what the facts are, and then to do all of the research and studies and historical background and future projections to put some real options on the table, to walk through what the impacts are of various choices that we would make, and then eventually to decide if we're going to make a decision or not, and which decision that should be. So take Blue Hill Ave, right? The problem there, and I think I've said this a bazillion times, so I don't want to, 10 seconds. The problem there was that there used to be public transit down the middle of Blue Hill Ave that served the community and got people from the neighborhood where they needed to go. And then it was ripped out when there was sort of flight out to the suburbs, and people needed to then drive quickly through the community without stopping to get to jobs downtown. And that's when all that was removed, and it was prioritizing people from suburbs getting through the area. And that's why it's as wide as it is. That's why it looks how it looks. And this was about restoration and bringing access back. There are still more public transit riders there in that corridor than anywhere else in the city. And they have huge delays.
But
Some of
Mayor,
that is double
can I
parking.
ask you this? Are they, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had this thought when you said the riders, and I appreciate the prioritization, but are they the ones that are driving, sorry, no pun intended, are they the ones that are pushing for the middle lane returning? I did learn a little bit of history. I knew Center Street had it. I didn't know Lab had a sort of maybe trolley center lane sort of approach. Less cars back then, and I get that. And so who is pushing that? Is it those riders that are pushing that, or is it not the riders? There's
So I, is it that we have an overwhelming number of people coming to City Hall and saying, I ride the bus and I want, there are definitely public transit advocates, and there are definitely organizations that have been pushing for this for years, decades and decades. But often when we just rely on who has the time and resources and luxury to be able to take time off of work to reach out to the city government, like how we have to make decisions and how we have to think about issues is can't just be about who was able to show up at a meeting. Obviously, meetings are really important, and we need to ensure that there's spaces where everyone can express their view. But the way this project happened, this iteration, is that there's been a longstanding plan, longstanding need identified, because the MBTA has said this is a corridor that's really important and it's not working as well as it should. And so it has been driven by the T. This is their project to say that if we want to make transit improvements, this is the best formation for it. I've gone back and forth with our general manager, who wasn't around when this was first kicked off, Phil Lang, like every other day it feels, but every week certainly. We've been going back and forth. Are there design changes that could be made? How do we ensure that community feedback about parking, small businesses, church attendance, flow of traffic, safety crossing the street, all of that is taken into account.
I got to interrupt because the team told me what you said, but then they know which the importance. So we got 4 minutes. So the frequency of these conversations are definitely important. And because there's so much to unpack here in a manner that is not unpacked in other platforms. And so I have to squeeze in a lot. The budget, we have to spend a minute on the budget, Mayor. I know the process. How are you? I asked about who's informing your decisions from the Black community. And we know when America catches a cold, the Black community catches the flu. Budget cuts are ones that are going to be impactful are going to impact the Black community most. How are you managing that impact, and who is in your ear naming what the impact will be, and then the ways of working around that? We know the immigration is sustained because that support kind of picked up by Lee over at the Boston Foundation, but there's some other areas. You talk about schools, public safety is becoming interesting, and as things are getting worse because, as you said, the federal, how are you managing impact around decisions that are being made, and who is being that voice in your ear, particularly for the Black community?
Yeah, there are lots of ways that I try to make sure I'm not just, thinking things that are in my head, but hearing directly from community, whether it's neighborhood leaders, faith leaders, public events that I'm at in the community constantly, folks who have been advising on Nubian Square in particular, and a real key priority that we're going to organize our efforts around economic development and workforce development and investments in Nubian Square. So there are a number of people who have been really involved on that front and on issues in general. I have some incredible cabinet staff members who have various places of expertise, and they're much more than just a conduit to the Black community, but of course are also key representatives of and connected to providing the feedback from various parts of the Black community as well.
One I've been trying to get, and I just got to put this out there.
Yeah.
I've been emailing Marty from Equity Cabinet for weeks. And so if you could nudge her to please be part of that, because she would be one of the first, along with Brianna, they would be one of the first people that may come to mind. But I've tried to have Marty come in, since she oversees so much that pertains to equity. And so, Mayor, I want to be fair, but in that fairness of getting you off at 10:33, if we cannot allow again 7-8 weeks to go by, because there are important conversations, and I'm not saying they're not being had in other, places or whatnot, but there is this is it, I'll name it. This is a space where this type of engagement is important to community. You get to in a non-regular media journalistic perspective, explain some things as well. But there, as you said, there's graceful accountability here too. And so I don't want to get in trouble with Michael. Mayor, it would be great to have you back soon, and let us know.
And I'd like to get to some of these questions next.
Well, we can
time for not just your questions, but community's questions also.
But they're very much informed by community, because as I tell you, when that post goes up, my phone is lit right now. And so
I would love to have some space to talk about budget, though, because there has been a lot of confusion, particularly around the DPS budget. And anyway, I can come back and do that next time. But there's some, I think, confusion about what the impacts actually are and what's being done. And we're actually increasing the amount of investment in BPS overall, increasing the amount of investment in 80 new positions being created around special education and bilingual education, and the sort of 5-year plans that have been in place in BPS. And there's lots of things being like connected together that aren't necessarily real that way.
One of the reasons I want to clarify with Marty is by looking at some things, there's a very heavy role in the equity cabinet that when you say positions that, is interesting. And so that's just an example of her and yourself just really, having these different type of conversations in this space. And so definitely let us know, or Phil and Sabine and Michael, let us know. And I'm sorry that the time is so short and we can't really delve in like we need to. But I appreciate you coming, and thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good to see everyone. See you next time.
Going to take a quick 2-second break, folks, and get ready to bring in the great folks that have been patient in the background. We went a little bit over with Mayor. We'll be back with you in just about 30 seconds.
Your healthy Java, health in every cup. Mind and body conversations that lift the whole community up. Stay healthy.
Pour the cup. Let's talk health.
Right here at the table where the good talk start.
Hey everyone, we're back. We are getting ready to bring into the Java Cafe, and I the time got cut short, and I really wanted to just ask the mayor to give her thoughts around the importance of historical context. We talked a lot about Black Boston, but there is a group of folks that I'm getting ready to bring in that focus on the history, on the stories, on the legacies, on the struggles of Roxbury, which possess, well, in the past, it's a little gentrified, it's getting gentrified now, but in its history, possess a lot of Black Boston's history, a lot of Black people, a lot of Black culture. New Edition. I don't think Donna Summers was from Roxbury, but there's a lot there. And so I'm getting ready to bring in the good brother, Eric Estevez. Is this your first time?
No, I've been before.
You've been on before. Okay. Yeah. I was going to be a little bit shady and say, this is your first time, but Eric, thank you for being here today. I think I would be remiss and not my authentic self that after you greet and say hello, I would just be curious to hear your thoughts around the relevance of the last segment and sort of your vision. And it's a good segue into this segment just the relevance of what was shared, what's been going on the past few months, and the importance of Roxbury, its stories in the Black community. Good morning. Please greet the audience. And thank you. And I'll thank the others for their patience. We went a little bit over.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Estevez. Some folks know me as Pops. Very much Roxbury centric and based, but I think the prior conversation you have with the mayor is important because accountability and transparency are important things, and certainly there's been just a historic feeling of disinvestment, a historic reality of disinvestment in Roxbury in particular. So I think people's concerns are valid in terms of holding any administration accountable, are useful. And I think, participatory democracy is what it's all about. If we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country, I mean, we can talk about it being started here and Christmas attics and all of that. So I think holding true to that activism is what it's all about.
Thank you. You tapped into something there personally because someone hit me yesterday and said, well, we want to describe you as an activist. And I was like, well, no, I've merged into the talk show host space. So you just even did something for me there. And so, Eric, the time is belabored, and I want to be sensitive to our guests in case they blocked out a certain amount of time. And so if you would do me the honor and privilege, I would say let's go with your former speaker, coach first. You can say their name and introduce them so the introduction is done right. But let's get ready to bring the great folks that make up this great team. I have to shout out Sister Shelly, and who makes this happen. And you have not had a TEDx Roxbury in all 4 years with not being on this platform. And so I appreciate her, Harvard, and Brother B. They are the anchors that have been here. But let's go ahead and bring the other folks in.
All right.
You could introduce them. Well, I'll put her on screen first. Go ahead.
First up, we have Sonia Pratt-Massot, who is a former speaker. She was one of our speakers in our first year, and she transitioned into a volunteer and became one of our coaches. So now she helps prepare and train our speakers to get their talks ready for the stage and gives them a lot of critical feedback informed by her being in the shoes previously.
And then we're going to bring in
we also have Gary Miller, who originally started as a volunteer back in 2019 when we really got started. Took a pause, but then he came back to the fold and joined in and rolled his sleeves up and became one of our coaches as well, helping folks get ready.
And certainly last but not least, and I know that this is the focus of TEDx Roxbury, is the speaker. And so we're honored we're honored today to also bring in, go ahead, Eric.
So this morning we have my lovely sister, Angela Pitter, my Nesby sister, who is one of our speakers this year, giving a great talk around AI, and informed by her being an engineer, a technology expert, and AI expert. So really giving a talk centered around a very current and relevant topic that has implications globally, but also specifically around folks in our communities.
And there's a whole Black economic development piece there that is so important as well. So I'm looking forward to hear your talk. In order of who's on my screen, Sonia, I'm going to start with you. If you could greet the audience, say hello, and describe your experience in working with TEDx over the past few years and in different capacities. If you could describe your experience in one word, and then you can give us context in a couple of seconds. Yes, one word. That's it. That's in here.
My name is Sonia Pratt-Massot. I've had the pleasure of being a speaker, of being a coach, and being a parent of a speaker. And I think it is, it's extraordinary. It's been an extraordinary experience.
Absolutely. And then we're also going to bring in Brother Gary. And if you could introduce yourself and ask the same question as well, or answer rather. If you could, Gary, hold on, turn your mic on. Okay, we are having a little tech issue with Brother Gary. Angela, we're going to come to you, and Gary, just jump in. If we hear your voice, we'll be good. You might have to, there's things in the background around giving your computer permission and all that other tech stuff. So, Angela, if you could introduce yourself, and with you, tell us just a little bit about yourself, and then also, if you could end that with one word to describe your first time experience within the TEDx Roxbury community.
Okay, well, thank you for having me this morning. For folks who don't know me, I'm Angela Pitter. My business is Livewire Collaborative, which is an AI and digital marketing consultancy, which I founded in 2012. And, really happy, excited to be part of the TEDx experience. It was one of those that I kind of went in just thinking I'm just going to dip my toe in the water and see what happens. And needless to say, I was surprised when I made the second round cut. So here we are. So Saturday, I hope I'm going to see all of you because I'm going to be talking, as they mentioned, about AI and what happens when you don't engage with it. So here's a little teaser. Roxbury could disappear from Boston without a single building being torn down.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute was in what you said, and then I leaned in a little bit more because Eric knows me, and to see him lean back and laugh like that was interesting. Brother Gary, do we have you back? Say hello. Oh, shoot. We're gonna work it out in the background. We're going to focus on Angela for a second, and Eric, if you don't, I know you do tech. If you could maybe help Gary, I think it's permissions, Gary, or do the old school thing. Log out, turn the computer off, log back in. That usually resolves a lot. And so I think, Angela, coming back to you, can you please, because you all need to come Saturday, without divulging what you're sharing, is minimal, but still not leave it. All right, I'll be honest with y'all. Before we went live, I told her to leave us on a cliffhanger, and boy, did she meet the mark. Okay. That is so interesting in these times to hear. And so I'm going to back up a little bit, Angela, if you don't mind. And Eric, based on what Angela just said, the relevance that you talked about earlier, and with there's the historical piece, but then there's a present and futuristic piece here. Why, Eric, for you, was it this focus on TEDx Roxbury?
Well, for me, it was all about storytelling. So it's the power of the TEDx brand. For me, I've watched TED Talks for a long time, since back in the day. I went to a couple of TEDx events locally, which gave me the idea of, doing one kind of in the neighborhood, but also it connecting to Black stories and communities around the country. So there's TEDx Roxbury. There's also TEDx Harlem, TEDx Third Ward in Houston, Inglewood in LA, Newark, Flatbush, Altadena. So there's communities where there's kind of this more homegrown, hyper-local TEDx version that's run by the Black folks in those cities. So, it's important to elevate our stories and center our stories. And I think connect those stories to the places where we are based and call home as well.
Absolutely. Sonia, let me ask you, as someone who's been a speaker, as someone who's both of your children, one performed and one is now a speaker. And so with that sort of historical context, you're in the academic space. Eric's point about stories, Angela's piece about AI. What relevance is this particularly to Roxbury?
I think it is so relevant to Roxbury and what's happening now. As being an educator, we know that AI is happening and we need to understand it better. Angela's talk is amazing, so you do need to be there for all of the speakers, but the way that she connects Roxbury in AI.
Wait a minute, hold on. Are you her coach?
I am not her coach.
Everybody.
I am not her coach.
You know why I asked that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sonia. But that was good. I'm not her coach.
I'm not, but we're a family and she is amazing. And so is our other speakers. So I think it is relevant and to teach everyone how to be a storyteller and that these stories need to be heard. I talked about being a parent. My youngest is also giving a talk. She's 14 years old. And I think that that is amazing as a young person being up there and talking about their experiences being a young person, their experiences being a young person in Roxbury. And so we won't disappear, or Roxbury won't disappear, as long as our stories are out there. And that's a good connection to TEDx Roxbury and to Angela.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Angela, so with that point, as someone that's new there, what has the experience been like being in the TEDx Roxbury space? This is my third year being a part of it. I've been at the dress rehearsals. There's food. So I'll shut up and ask you to tell us from your experience in Lens, what has that been like?
So it's interesting enough. I knew some of the other speakers from previous years, but I never actually talked to them about their process. So the process was actually new. That part was new for me. It's a long process. It feels like it's what case. Let me back up. When you start, it feels like a long process because you're submitting your application from, I think it's January, and this event is in May. And then for me, as a more senior professional, I had some fear around the whole memory piece of it, that I would definitely not be able to memorize a 10-minute speech. So with that additional pressure on myself, not from TEDx Roxbury, it was a little bit intense. But it's good because they're very, very supportive. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, they brought in food. You know, we can reach out to our coach anytime. Gary's actually my coach. And it's a great community. You know, you actually do talk to all of the coaches at some point. So you get a different perspective each time. So it's a really clean process. They do a wonderful job.
It is definitely a family. I remember I captured last year. We were down, I want to call it the tunnel. We were downstairs under the stage, and we started doing the swag, or maybe it was the year before, maybe it was last year, I don't know. But we started doing the swag, and that there is that macro family and sort of encouragement. There are other coaches' relationships. But Sonia, I loved when I made a presumption and said, you know, well, are you, Angela's coach? Because that expected affinity, is valid and should be there. But the way you leaned in and said, no, I'm not, you know what I mean? Just that is that sort of communal piece there. And so, Eric, did you see this when you first visioned this? And one thing I will say, and he hasn't said it too much, but Eric is I won't say it was pulling teeth, but Eric is background. Eric is he's always pushing the team and things like that. And so, Eric, thank you for the vision. And did you see it forming into this family and into, because I know what type of connections are made there? What did you envision this part of it?
Yes. And just to take a little tangent, I'm hella jet lag. I was at a conference yesterday in Atlanta, and this dude said something about building companies, and he said culture came last. And I was like, nah. I wholeheartedly disagree. Culture should come first. Yes. So I think we set the tone in terms of what the culture was going to be up front in terms of community, supportive, collaborative. So I think, yeah, that was part of the recipe in terms of how we wanted it to be, because we wanted people to feel supported. We wanted people to come in who basically didn't always self-select and say, I want to speak. We want people who had really good ideas, and are saying, I don't really want to do this. I'm scared, or I'm shook. I'm not really a good public speaker. I mean, wanted them to build the confidence, because it's about not necessarily people that always have a platform and always have a mic in front of them. It's also people that are unheard or not as popular as other people. So we wanted to be able to really expose people to new audiences and new voices as well.
Sonia, as we get ready to wrap up, I would like to ask you, I think also you touched on it before, but again, in these times, as being a Black woman, as being in the education space, someone that knows policy, that piece about culture, yes, within the TEDx Roxbury environment, but what impact do you see the stories of the past few years of people that have been a part of this? How do you see that impacting the larger culture away from, no offense, outside of Roxbury?
I mean, we've already seen the impact. Some of the talks that have already went up on the platform have gotten national attention. We've seen so many people be able to grow businesses and make connections. Just the other day, I got a text message from one of my old students who was in a PD and was like, they are playing your TEDx right now. And I'm like, that was my teacher. That was my teacher. And so we already see that impact, and it will just continue to grow. The applications, the people, we get people from all over the world trying to be a part of TEDx Roxbury. And so we already know that that impact is happening, and that will just multiply because every year we work really hard with the team and Eric to make it better than it was the year before.
Absolutely. And I think we got brother. I think we got brother Gary. But Gary, can you hear us? But we
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Hey, good morning. All right. All right.
You talk about right on time and just made it. What's up, Gary?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. And I see you worked it out there in the background. So we are getting ready to wrap up. And so I will ask you, you are Angela's coach.
Yes.
Tell us about your experience in coaching someone. She mentioned that, you know, she was a little, and Sister Angela, I can understand the memory piece, because I'll be honest, I was supposed to apply to talk, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do 10 minutes. First of all, scripted, but remember 10 minutes. But Gary, what has it been like to bring Angela into this TEDx Roxbury environment and family and culture and coach her from the beginning to like seeing what she's going to do on Saturday?
I think it's been an absolute pleasure to work with Angela. She came in with what I would say is a speech that was ready to go, right? It was a speech ready to go. It had all of the points. And it's been great to then turn that speech and work with her to develop that speech into a talk, bring that personality, bring some of the examples. And I know before I logged off, she was giving you just an opener of that. That's a little bit of the excitement that I've been able to experience for the entire process of, does this transport the listener? Those of you who are going to be in the audience this weekend, does it transport the listener into what it was like growing up with that background or going through those lived experiences and those shared experiences? So I think it's been wonderful to be able to time travel with Angela and then get a chance to sit back as a coach and reflect on myself and see, how does this speech apply to me? Am I taking all the actions that she's recommending? Is there something I could be doing better? Is there something I could be doing more? So it's a learning experience. You know, you learn to teach and you're teaching to learn. So it's been a great exchange of ideas with somebody like Angela. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Well, you talk about save the best for last.
Hey,
Gary came in. I see why you're a coach. You came in and just answered the question and just, okay. That was a good wrap there. Sonia, I kind of interrupted once we were able to get Gary back in, but I wanted to thank all of you all for coming this afternoon. It was sort of last minute, this morning rather. It was sort of last minute. I want to thank Shelly and shout out to the whole team and everybody that is a part of TEDx on Saturday. And so for those of you, I put it up earlier, for those of you that are watching, the link to the Eventbrite is in the comments on both Java with Jimmy and also James W. Hills. I did say yesterday that I did get a question from someone that wanted to come. And there is not an age limit. However, the age that needs to be in the room, that if you have to tell them to be quiet and don't make a peep, because this is being recorded, that's that know your child, and be able to, I would say tween and teens is probably the age, because these talks are recorded, and it is also not the recording, but I know what it is to speak in public. And if there's a cry, if there's something, it shifts, you know, the speaker's space. And so I just wanted to clarify that piece, that there is no age limit. However, we need everybody in the room to hold their agency at any moment. So I think that's it. Eric, Sonia. Yes. I was just getting ready to ask, did I miss anything? Go ahead, Angela.
Yes, you did. So here's the thing, folks. If you're not able to attend on Saturday, I need you to all donate to TEDx Roxbury.
Hey.
This is a program that doesn't run by itself. It needs funding. And we need all of you to help fund this program. So if you're unable to attend, please donate. And if you're not in the position to donate, but you know someone who is, send them the donate link.
So Eric, if you can do me a favor, because everybody knows I do production in real time. Eric, because there's the Eventbrite.
TEDxRoxbury.com.
There it is.
You can find everything there. You can buy tickets there. You can donate there. You can volunteer there. You can do all of that there.
All right. Is somebody typing it so I can type it too? Look, I've done this in real time. Hold on. All right. So TEDx, Jesus Lord, I can type TEDxRoxbury.com.
Yep.
There's a donation link. Okay. So folks, please do me a favor. You know, we do this often. And I say often, if it's $5 and 100 people do that, if it's $10 and 20 people do that, every bit counts. Every bit counts. And so I definitely appreciate all of you being here. Eric, I will continue. I've been promoting it all week and will continue to promote this. I will say I have the honor of being co-host with Courtney Boston that will be there Saturday as well. This is my 3rd year joining her. It is it's an experience to be a part of this. And so I needed you all's energy today. So I'm looking forward to Saturday as well. Angela, I'm going to ask you particularly because you got me earlier. Did we miss anything? We got the donations. We got the date. Oh, Eric, you know what I forgot? The time. What time is it?
So it's 10 o'clock start time. So we're planning to open doors around 9.
Okay. And what I just heard was, James, you be there at 7:30. Okay. All right.
And I'm closing. So if you want to hear me, you have to stay to the end.
Yes.
Okay, Angela, you do more than AI. You got a little marketing, little skill set to you as well. Eric is sitting in the back. Come on with the donations. But no, please, seriously, consider doing that and letting them know that you support this. Because in these times, our stories are always important, but in these times when so much of, as Eric said and referred to culture, so much of our culture and who we are constantly being bombarded with tearing it down, making it disappear. And to Angela's point, and we'll leave you on another cliffhanger. Angela, say what you said earlier that had me like, wait, what?
Roxbury could disappear from Boston without a single building being torn down.
I don't like that. The cliffhanger is it. But I can't wait till Saturday. All right, I'm going to let you all go in case any of you have an 11. I think I actually do. So thank you all for being here so much, and I look forward to seeing everyone Saturday.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
See you guys Saturday.
Thank you. Folks, I hope today that you got something out of the show, out of the segment with the mayor, definitely out of this segment, also with our TEDx, this segment, which was TEDx Roxbury. We thank you all for being here today. What's today? Wednesday. So we will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Thankful Thursdays. And I think that is it. Please keep in mind the dates. The first one that is coming up is, of course, TEDx Roxbury, which is taking place on Saturday. And then also there may be a Java After Dark. I just got a text and I set a tentative date that I forgot about. So there may be a Java After Dark tomorrow night. Also, please do not forget the health fair and keep that in mind. And I think that is it. I'm just going to do, now, first of all, I cannot do a whole sweep of the comments when the mayor was like, I still got to figure out how she sees the comments. But thank you for everyone being here today. Just a couple of the maybe latest comments. Blue, good to see you in the room. Eric, thank you so much for putting the shorter link here. So here is a better, shorter link to go and get your tickets, even if you're not attending. That could be your donation. If you're not attending and you're part of the Java family and you buy tickets, forward me your ticket and we will make sure that we disperse it to someone that may want to attend and not afford it, not be able or aren't able to afford it. I'm tired, y'all. All right, I think I have an 11 o'clock. So let me get off of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. here in the Java Cafe. Thank you all for being here.